Hey guys, thank you for joining me again. Today we're going to talk once again about a very interesting topic that very few people actually stop to reflect about, which is money. And how is it that money is actually money? What was it that made it become what it is today? So many people think that you need a government to dictate this is money and this is what you're going to use in this country. And that's nowadays kind of the norm, and the governments dictate basically what kind of money you're going to use to pay your taxes. But it didn't used to be like that. And in fact, money didn't originate by kings or governments. Money originated by first just trying to meet different wants that in the past were settled by basically just doing some bartering, exchanging commodities. We moved from that to gold, and there was no government telling us, hey, this is money or that is money. Why we gravitated towards gold was because gold had certain properties that money should have. So first of all, you need to understand that money has to cover three main functions. It needs to be a store of value, it needs to be a unit of account, and it needs to be a method of exchange. So let's talk about those three. A method of exchange is basically, again, something that you and I are agreeing on basically exchanging, and that basically it has some common perception, it has some popularity, some knowledge of other people that makes it, hey, yes, everyone is going to agree that this thing can be exchanged for products and services. And at some point in our history, we achieved that with gold. Now, the second property, method of exchange, the second was unit of account. So unit of account means basically that you can agree how much of that material, of that money, of that thing that you're using to transact is going to be used for a certain thing. And essentially, it means that you and I can agree, hey, this car is worth $1,000, or this property is worth 100 gold coins. It is something that we can measure numerically. We can use as a unit to put prices on stuff. And that was something that was achieved also by gold, with the different gold coin sizes, gold coin denominations, gold nuggets that were in different sizes as well. So you were able to also use gold, maybe not as effectively as the dollar, but you were also able to use the gold as a unit of account. Now, the dollar or the fiat system is very successful in achieving basically a unit of account, because again, you can put all the prices you want in dollars, and you can be as precise as, hey, this microphone is $100.99. So you can go to that level of definition and precision if you want to. So basically, a method of exchange, a unit of account, is perfectly attained with both the dollar and gold. The problem became with the third one and most important one, which is a store of value. Meaning, if I'm working my ass off to get a certain amount of money, let's call money whatever it is, gold, fiat, a commodity, I better be sure that that money, that economic power, that energy that I deposited on that thing that we're using as a method of exchange and as a unit of account actually doesn't lose value over time. And the problem was that gold wasn't able to lose value. Basically, the only way that you can devalue gold is by generating or finding more gold, and that has happened in the past. But when we introduced paper money, when we moved into the fiat system, basically what happened was that in the past, it did have a convertibility to gold, and we weren't just basically in a paper or in a fiat world entirely. We were on a gold standard. So even before the 1900s, between 1834 and 1933, it was a fact of life that you could exchange $20.67 for 1 ounce of gold. And then what happened was, after World War I and after the basically Great Depression, In 1933 and 1934, basically, FDR ended the domestic convertibility of gold from dollars, and basically it was also revalued to $35 per ounce. So it used to be $20. Now, in the 1930s, it became $35 per ounce of gold. And then the dollar became the world reserve currency with the Bretton Woods Agreement in 1944. And finally, in 1971, Richard Nixon gives us the Nixon shock. And he says, well, basically now there's no gold convertibility, even for international entities and nations. So we're now in the fiat world, in the fiat standard. And the problem is that very few people realize that from 1971 up to the present, roughly for 55 or so years, we've been in this world in which the third property of money, the store of value, has been infringed. Basically, Richard Nixon and that Nixon shock introduced alchemy into our system, where now anyone with any justification, hey, we need to pay the bills, we need to raise the debt ceiling, we need to fund this war, we need to do whatever you think it is that they will give us an excuse, they will use it to print more money and devalue your economic power. So that wasn't the case in the past. Money didn't used to be as crappy as it is right now. It used to be the case that if you were working for gold, that gold was still worth something over time, in 10 years, in 20 years. In fact, it appreciates over time because it is scarce. Whereas fiat has nothing of a scarcity. It's actually the most common thing in the world. It gets printed every second that we spend on Earth. And again, no wonder why technologies that like Bitcoin, that introduces hard money, that introduces a 21 million cap that cannot be infringed, is taking popularity. It's making its strides into nation states, pension funds, ETFs, and public companies. So wake up. And again, this is not a Bitcoin video, this is a money video. Just understand that we are in the fiat standard, and the fiat standard is stealing from you. So again, hopefully you start waking up, you start understanding and reading history, understanding money, and realizing that the current monetary system in which we live in, even though it's imposed by the governments, even though that's how you pay taxes with, even though, again, we believe it's the norm and it's normal, it's not normal. For thousands of years, for millennia, the human being, the humanity basically, has been operating with harder money, with gold. And it was the reason that gold actually prevailed as hard money. Hopefully, again, this is useful for you. If you like this content, please like and subscribe, and talk to you soon. Until then, see ya.